Hello and welcome to Critical Political Thinking. My name is Corey Camasso and I'm your host. Today's special report, we're going to be covering the shooting death of Daunte Wright. We're going to go over the details of the case. We're going to go over the media narrative that has been spun, and then how they had to really stop dead in their tracks and retract the majority of the things that they were doing. So we're going to get into all those details and a ton more, as well as cover the rioting, the looting, all the stuff that goes with these shootings. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned and welcome to a very special episode of Critical Political Thinking. Hello and welcome to our special report on Daunte Wright and the shooting that has now rocked America yet again. Unfortunately, we had another tragic accident here in the United States where a younger individual by the age of 20, an African-American individual, otherwise we never would have even heard about it, but this African-American individual by the name of Daunte Wright, and I think we should hear about all these things, by the way, not just ones of specific colors is what I'm getting at. And they go off to say, well, that's because it's an epidemic of... Well, here's the problem. You have to look at the crime ratios. And then you look and they're identically proportionate, which therefore leads to the fact that it has nothing to do with the fact that police as a whole are racist. Sure, there might be a couple asshole cops, just like there's a couple asshole of everybody. But the problem you're facing is the fact that you can't accept fact that statistically, it's all the same. So what do we have? We have an individual by the name of Daunte Wright. A 20-year-old individual was pulled over. They claim he was pulled over because of, his family is claiming he got pulled over because of air fresheners. Really, they ran the name. They identified the fact that the owner of the vehicle that matched the description of the driver had a known warrant. So while, yes, they may have used that as a traffic stop, which is a valid reason to stop someone, mind you, they did it with ulterior motives. They knew what was going on in this situation. There's no way they didn't. So you have an individual that is then asked to get out of his vehicle, and at that point he failed to comply. He jumps in the vehicle, putting the lives of everyone around him at risk. Now, it's very important to understand, yes, there is a fear, a certain level of fear in the African-American community towards police, and fear that they can just do whatever they want. Well, let me explain something to you. When I get pulled over, or if I were to get pulled over, I would be in the same position. I'd be nervous because, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if you've got a good person. But that's just with any situation where you're a one-on-one, you're always going to walk into something like that with some hesitancy, especially when it's something revolving around a crime, speeding, ticket, things along those lines. So what we now need to get to is what actually happened in this traffic stop. So what we can see from the body cam footage is very clear. And there's audio, identical audio to go with it. And it's on all three cameras, so there's no controversy there. What you have in this case is an officer, a female officer, mind you, because we'll get to the media narrative in a moment, but we have a female officer that was, in fact, attempting to detain this individual. The individual fought, jumped back in the vehicle, and attempted to elude police. She truly believed she pulled out a taser. She did. She thought she had a taser in her hand. Scares me. It does. She said taser, taser, which would be letting her fellow officers know they're about to deploy a taser to remove all contact so that, the current doesn't travel, whatever the case may be, and incapacitate an officer. So she then fired what she thought was a single taser burst. And then she immediately realized that wasn't her taser. That was, in fact, her service firearm. From what we can view, it was a Glock. So let's dispel a few rumors really quick for those people that don't understand how guns work. Most service Glocks for police officers do not have a safety. The safety is built into the trigger mechanism. So No, she didn't have to turn off the safety in order to fire the gun. She didn't have this planned. It wasn't a premeditated execution. And everyone is running off on these tangents because the media is allowing them to run off on these tangents. And what do we mean by the media is allowing it? We mean the media is spitting it simply because they first thought they had a great story on their hands. The same town, Derek Chauvin, blah, 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 blah. Officer kills another unarmed black man. Okay, but why didn't you get into all the details? A female officer shot a black person by mistake after they attempted to elude police on a warrant stop, basically, which turned into a warrant stop. But that's not how the news reports, because that doesn't fit the narrative. So instead, they thought they had a guy, a white male, shooting an officer or shooting an unarmed black man. So they ran with this. Man, boy, did they run with this. They took off like a bat out of hell. And they just spun this. And that's why we had 2 days of, well, one major day of rioting and looting, yet again. Because they pushed the narrative that it's okay. Protesting is peaceful, it's social justice, it's getting things done. Look at how Biden is responding as a result of us rioting, blah, 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 blah. So the media has, in fact, caused these riots. And if I were some of these small business owners, I'd be suing the media because they are the ones that, in fact, inflated these situations, brought attention to situations that didn't deserve attention, simply because criminals do get killed in accident. When you put yourself in a bad position, bad things potentially can happen. I hate to say it, but that's just kind of life, you know? We actually had the officers come out and state, you know, it's typical for it to be your dominant hand is your firearm. So, you know, your firearm would be in your right hand if you're right-handed, and your taser would be in your left-handed if you're not. So, you know, obviously you would want your dominant hand controlling the more lethal of the two. With that said, that's exactly where this case had gone. The individual went for her strong arm. You know, sometimes that's reflex to go for whatever you can grab in your dominant arm. So there's going to be a lot of investigations that go on in this case, but there is clear evidence that this woman did not mean to shoot this individual. This wasn't homicide, or I'm sorry, murder. This was, if anything, involuntary manslaughter. It was not intended. She attempted to incapacitate and not kill. Even with the single shot, she would not have intended to kill center mass like that, like where she shot. You know, she shot to be an effective taser, not execute the individual. So then we have more rioting, and you have the first things coming out of everyone's mouth in the media. How is she going to be prosecuted? How are they going to... First of all, let's get the family some peace and justice and stop the rioting and looting. It's getting nothing done. What part of that don't you understand? Defunding the police isn't going to work. Refunding and better training is going to work. We always are going to need some form of authority to stop people that are incapable of being stopped by standard citizens. And that's why it's so important, especially if you people think, you know, you're not comfortable with a gun. I'm comfortable with a gun. You're never going to take that. But the problem with this is some people aren't. So they need somebody to call other than citizens and civilians. And that's where the police come in. They're not going anywhere. And to send somebody that's even less capable of defending you is irrelevant. And these, you know, send a social warrior, send a social worker. Are you out of your mind? Like, do you really want to see more deaths? Do you want to, like, have a whole memorial dedicated to the deaths of these social workers that have gone into situations where they weren't prepared? Because I certainly don't. So frankly, what do we have here? We have another situation, a tragic one at that. The media is now spinning out of proportion in an attempt to garner votes. Trump is gone. They've got no clicks. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to do the only thing they know how to do. And that is manipulate a story in order to get views. And that is the opposite of what we do here at Critical Political Thinking. We're bringing you the truth. The fact of the matter is there was a severe difference in the weight of those devices, firearm, taser. The clear evidence, however, shows that she went for her dominant hand. She was in fear. The vehicle was moving, rapid movement. It is what it is. Sadly, it happened. Sadly, the boy passed away. Had he not run and just stayed there, maybe they could have administered aid. Had he not crashed and caused further issues. But then again, he had fear. There's a lot of things that go into these things, and I blame it all on the media for spinning this narrative that the police are out to kill African Americans, when we know, in fact, that's simply not true. So what is it that we ask of you as Americans now? It's to spread the truth. Spread the fact that this is so sad. No, he didn't need to pass away. But you need to understand compliance is key, especially if you're a criminal and they have reason to believe that you're a threat. I mean, common sense, people. They're there to protect themselves and the citizens of America. And if you're putting that in jeopardy by committing crimes or doing something, you cannot constantly put blame on someone else for your own actions. We need to start taking responsibility. You know, there was a saying that used to go on, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is so important. And we need to really get back to that, because what's ending up happening is we have people that are so fearful and worried about words that they're listening to these stupid media narratives that have become entertainment pieces rather than actual journalism. And now people are making decisions, life decisions based on these, and they're dying as a result. They're dying. So the people to blame here isn't even necessarily, well, you do blame the police for not having more training, for not, putting them in situations, active role play situations where they are pulling weapons fast, drawing, making sure they're pulling the right side, and penalizing as a result. Do I think this woman belongs as a police officer? Absolutely not. Do I think she belongs charged criminally? Absolutely not. This is 100% a tragic accident. Accident. What we need to do is come together and unite as Americans rather than further this racial divide. We can take this as an opportunity to understand that it is true. Accidents happen, but we can come together as a black, white, Hispanic, Asian, any race, come together as a community and fight through these things. Help the police, get them the better training they need. Let them know that we're on their side, and then they won't necessarily have to even reach for the taser. Don't peel away when you're getting pulled over. Take your punishment. If you did something wrong, that's called life. Deal with it. Be an adult. Take responsibility for your actions. There's a wonderful legal system in place, and now more than ever, it is being watched like a hawk. So don't let them kill you. Let them fight you in court. And chances are you might even win. People, we got to start paying attention, and it's so sad. You have this rioting and looting, and it's true. It happened again. You don't see the FBI there investigating with, asking for tips and send us pictures of all the people that smashed your business. Send us pictures of all. They don't even give a shit. Do you want to know why? Because it doesn't fit their narrative. They're not the Capitol rioters. They're not Trumpers, so they don't even give a shit. They're going to focus more on the police officer than the actual issues at hand, like the rioting and looting that caused by the liberal media. It's facts, people. You can't deny fact. As they spin these stories, they enrage people for absolutely no reason, when in fact this was nothing but an accident. And we really appreciate you coming to us here at Critical Political Thinking. We're going to continue to bring you the truth behind the facts in every situation. We do apologize. You're going to see a couple stop splices. I myself am suffering from an extreme toothache. It's killing me. Every 5 minutes I have to stop and gargle and whatnot, but we needed to bring you this news, and that was more important than my health at this point. So please, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Critical Political Thinking. Please like, please subscribe, please ring the notification bell, please echo, please rumble. Please do whatever you can to help us share this video, because clearly the YouTube algorithms are obviously not working favorably upon us. Therefore, we rely on amazing viewers like you to share the truth. Please also visit www.criticalpoliticalthinking.com and join our Critical Political Thinkers Club. For as little as $5, you can join the club and get some daily content, all the way up to $49, and get yourself a mug, a t-shirt, face mask, and a ton of other great, cool, Critical Political branded things. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Corey Camasso. We are very sorry to the family of Daunte Wright, and we will be praying for you throughout these tragic times. It was a very unfortunate situation, an accident that occurred. Additionally, we'll be praying for the officer and her family, because now she's dealing with something tragic as well. And most people will overlook that fact, that she's now going to have PTSD for the rest of her life. She truly didn't mean to kill that young man, and now she has to live with that. It's tragic, people. It's tragic. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward, we're going to talk more about the rioting and looting and hypocrisy behind that, but we felt it more important to give the facts about this case and get it out there as soon as possible so that you understand the truth behind these shootings. Some, yes, may be a little more malice than others, but this was nothing but an accident, and don't let the liberal media spin it any other way. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Corey Camasso, and this is Critical Political Thinking. God bless America.